For many Canadians, this federal workers' strike has created inconveniences, obtaining passports, filing taxes on time. But for people looking to come to this country or to stay here, the consequences are much more severe. The strike is delaying an already overburdened immigration system. While claims are still coming in, all processing is frozen. Canada was already facing a backlog of immigration applications even before the strike because of the pandemic. So for more on what this means for those who are the most severely affected, I'm joined by certified specialist in immigration law, Warren Kreitz. Welcome to your morning.
Good morning.
Lay out for us what impact this strike has on refugee claims, immigration applications, student and work visas.
The starting point for us, I think, has to be on the first full day of the strike, Wednesday of last week, when the Minister of Immigration did a press conference during which he said that he expects all lines of business of the Immigration Department will be severely affected. That, to me, is the starting point. And as you said in your preamble, there is already a backlog that was caused by the COVID pandemic. So immigration processing is backlogged as our politicians promise growing numbers, which is a great thing for Canada if we can keep up. The world hears this. The world applies to come to Canada. People that are here on study permits, on visitor records, and on work permits, most of them want to stay, and they seek to file applications to extend their status. So all these things are going to be affected. You mentioned passports, but I'm talking about the more substantive areas that impact people's lives. They want to come here. If they're here, they want to stay.
Yeah, if they stay here and they're waiting for things to, I mean, when you're waiting for a refugee application, for example, to be approved, that affects how much money you can or cannot make. It affects getting a job. It affects being able to, your livelihood here. What are you hearing from clients about how this is affecting their lives?
People are very nervous, first of all, because they're hearing the same things that you and I are. There will be no impact on filing applications because most applications are now filed online. What happens after we file applications, though, is the great black hole. No one knows who's looking at these applications or indeed when they will be looked after. So a lot of the striking unions, the collective bargaining agreements, affect the people that are actually processing the cases. So as I said, there's nothing to stop us from filing these applications, but we don't know when the strike will be over, what size the backlog will now become, and when officers will be able to get to them.
You mentioned that the backlog that was created because of COVID. How long is the backlog right now?
Well, it depends on what line of business is, whether it's a study permit application or a work permit application. Border services are not affected, so people can still come and enter. If they have visas already or don't need a visa, they can still seek entry, either at an airport or a land port of entry. There's no issue with those at all. It's the actual application to get the work permit, to get the study permit, to get permanent resident status, or indeed to get citizenship, or, as you said, passport. So all those lines of business, as you use the word frozen, the government and the minister has said emergency cases, humanitarian and compassionate cases will still be processed, but we don't really know what those mean. The government's made a statement on their website. They say if you have to come for a funeral, that application will be approved as an emergency case. If your job is affected because you don't have a passport, that passport application will be approved. But those are so small in number compared to the hundreds of thousands of cases that get filed every year.
You know, we reached an immigration record last year in this country, 430,000 permanent residents. We know the government, they've announced this, they want to hit a new target of 1.45 million new immigrants in the next 3 years. Do you think that's going to be possible given the strike and the ongoing backlog we're experiencing now?
I think it'll be possible because the Treasury Board has approved new funds to hire new staff. It takes a year to train an officer to make independent decisions. I think they'll make up for the lost time. They did so during the pandemic to achieve that number you just spoke of last year. I think it's possible, but it's going to take some real heavy lifting.
In the meantime, there's a lot of people who are stuck in limbo, feeling desperate this morning. Warren Kreitz, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.